Hello, healers and health seekers. It's me, Ichoda, healing with medical medium information for 3.5 years now. If you want to know all the diagnoses and symptoms and conditions that I'm healing from, it's in the description box below. I'll just give you a short list. Mast cell activation disorder, multiple chemical sensitivity, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, migraines, PCOS, hypothyroid, SIBO, blah blah blah, so many other things. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I mean, I am. This is part of my healing journey, but one of my wonderful audience, friends, Winter Song, left a comment on one of my videos and said that she would like to know more about what I do besides the foods for healing, specifically about the angels and my journey with the angels. And she asked some really good questions, and it seems to be like a really good time because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and I have all these ideas about videos where I talk about the angels and the impact they've had on me, and I have so many ideas that it's like I can't narrow it down and just focus. So I'm going to focus on the questions that Winter Song asked me because I think they're fantastic questions, and she basically just gave me the material for a whole video just answering these questions. So she's asking, how did I get into angels? Why did it take me so long? And did I also not believe it? And do I feel that it has helped me? So let's answer these questions. Great questions. Okay. So in all of the medical medium books, in the backs of the books, he talks about meditations and angels that can be supportive also to our healing journey. In the first book, for sure, he talks about the essential angels. These are angels that are specifically to help us in our healing process. And he has several meditations in the back of this book. Honestly, I think this will just always be my favorite book. And the reason for that is A, it's the book that I first read. It's the book that helped me find my healing. And it's so complete and comprehensive. It might not have as dense of information as, say, Liver Rescue, but it's so complete and comprehensive and can just really get you on the road to healing. And it has those amazing meditations, and it has the amazing angels in it, and I love it. I love it so much. So the first book has the essential angels. The second book, Life-Changing Foods, has the life-changing angels. And that's another group of angels that also are here to help with our healing, and specifically with food and patterns around food, things like that. There are also some great meditations in this book, again, around food and growing your own food and picking your own food and dandelion seed, all kinds of different things. So really great meditations in Life-Changing Foods. And again, I love Life-Changing Foods, and because it has all the foods in it, like individual things about the way these foods feed not just our bodies, but our soul and our spirit, and the support that they offer us, and how it's not just about physical support. It's amazing what these foods can do. If you do not have this book, get a copy. It is such a good book. In Thyroid Healing, Medical Medium talks about the angel of sleep, because he does the whole section of the book on sleep. It's really important and really crucial for our healing, our sleep. I'm just going to recommend every single book. Thyroid Healing is another amazing book, and there's a lot of amazing information in it. It goes more in depth into our healing and more in depth into the different symptoms and conditions, even than the first book did. It like adds on to it. And I don't mean for this to be a plug for the books necessarily, although yeah, sure, why not? Because honestly, but I just want you to know where these angels are and like where this information is in the book so that you can find it too. And in Liver Rescue, obviously, he also talks about the angels, and there are other meditations in here specifically for our liver. So the Celery Juice book is the only book that does not have meditations or angels in it. However, it has such amazing information on celery juice and all the things that it does that it's still a treasure trove. And I love it. And I cannot wait until the next book. He said he's going to be announcing it pretty soon. Oh, I can't wait until the next book comes out, because then we can find out what more information there can be. It's so exciting. Okay, so angels for me. So when I read the first book, there was information in that book, and no, okay, go back. A long time ago, when I was in my 20s, I did some personal growth work. And part of that personal growth work, one of the instructors in that personal growth work said, I don't expect you to believe what I'm saying. I don't expect you to take it as true. What I am asking you to do is to try it on like a jacket. Just like you would try on a jacket, you can try it on, see if it fits, wear it for a while, see how you like it, and then you can decide whether or not you want to keep it or give it back. That concept and that idea has stuck with me over the years and has benefited me so much in my life, to where it was like, I don't have to buy into something necessarily, but I can try it on and see if it fits and see if it works. I don't have to just go whole hog full force into something. So when I read the Medical Medium book, and it did so resonate with me, and it just felt like truth, and I just knew this is what was going to be what I was going to do next. And I thought, this is it, this is what's going to help me heal. And I was right, it did. And but when I read the book, I read the whole book. And at the back of the book, he's got meditations and he's got angels, and he says, talk to the angels every day. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try on this jacket. I'm going to wear the whole thing, and I'm going to see if it works. What do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? Nobody's going to hear me. Nobody's going to know. This is something very personal. I can do it at night in my bed when nobody can hear me. And it doesn't, like, honestly, what do I have to lose? Why not do it? So I did it. And I felt pretty silly doing it. So I guess I should go back a little bit and talk about, my history of what I thought about angels before, and why I'd never really connected in that way with them. So I used to kind of half jokingly say, but not entirely jokingly, like, I always kind of believed in angels. Like, I've been into angels and fairies and crystals and all that stuff for pretty much my whole life. I've always felt like there's truth to that stuff, and I've always felt like, yeah, that's real. Just because I hadn't personally seen these things didn't mean that they didn't exist. I knew people who had. So yeah, I believed angels were real. I didn't have any particular strong attachment to them or anything like that. I didn't really know how to learn more about them. I didn't grow up in a religious... My muffin's just snoring, cracking me up. I didn't grow up in a religious environment. I grew up in a spiritual environment, very spiritual. Our next door neighbors ran a meditation center that my mom went to. And so we went to that every week, and we would meditate and chant and stuff like that. They didn't really talk about angels in the tradition that she believed in was very Hindu based, and it didn't really talk about angels per se. But it talked about gods and goddesses, and I was down with that, like, okay. So I definitely wasn't dismissive of angels or anything like that. And I did, when I was older, much older, I always used to, like I said, I used to half joke, but sort of half really believe this, that I must have had a guardian angel throughout my life, because some of the situations I got myself into as a experiential teenager, and just needing to, not really trusting the words of the adults around me, but needing to experience it for myself. I always kind of wondered how I didn't die in some of those situations, because I got myself into some kind of really scary situations where I'm not sure how I got out unscathed. Like, I don't know. And there were some situations where I wasn't unscathed, where I was like in a really horrible car accident, stuff like that. But But I don't even mean that kind of, yeah. Anyway, not really going to go into that because this is not going to forward the conversation. But I thought I had to have some kind of guardian angel protecting me because, yeah, I was okay after all that, and I still came out okay. So, when he says there are very specific angels and you can talk to them and they will help you in your healing, like they're here to support you, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll try it. But I did feel really silly because I'd never done anything like that before. So my own tradition, kind of, I gravitated toward pagan religions, toward like goddess and trees and, worshiping nature. And that's always been my own heart, is like, get out in nature. And so the meditations were right up my alley. Moon, stars, bees, birds, trees. Yeah, hello, that's me. Like, I'm like, that was so familiar and comfortable, and I was right into that. Like, absolutely. I am the person who, throughout my teens and 20s, was staring at the sky all the time, watching the clouds, which is how I know they're so different now. Because I paid attention. Not many people looked at the skies, but I always looked at the skies. My greatest, favorite activity to do on a sunny, beautiful afternoon with those big white fluffy clouds in the sky was grab a friend, go find okay, I will admit that we would do this in an altered state of mind, but I would grab a friend, we would get into an altered state of mind, we would go find like a great grassy hill to lay on. We would stare up at the clouds for hours and hours and just watch the pictures in the clouds and talk about stuff. That was my idea of like the greatest afternoon ever. So, or the greatest day ever. I still have vivid memories of some of those days with friends where I would, be like, we're going on an adventure today. And that was our adventure. We were going to do that. And it was so much fun. So I've always been like, yeah, or we'd go, my friends and I would go camping and like stare at the campfire or, be hiking around in nature. So I've always loved that and felt that, like that nature breathed life into me whenever I was in it. It just felt right and where I should be. And I've always felt this connection to the natural world. Even though I'm not really good at growing plants, which I've always like, how can I not grow a plant? I can grow a plant. I'm getting better. But I don't have a natural green thumb. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'm still going to keep having a garden. I still love having a garden. I'm just not like expert level at it yet. But now I know about angels who can help. So that's a whole different level of something. Okay, so that's kind of my history. And so that was my inclination. Again, the pagan religions don't talk about angels. And, when you're worshiping nature, you're not talking about angels. At least not in the traditions that I was familiar with. So, periphery. It's like, yeah, fairies, angels, whatever. They all kind of went into that category together as existing. We knew there are nature spirits. We know that this is real and stuff like that. But it was never highlighted, I guess, is a good way to say it. It wasn't ever highlighted. So it felt a little weird being like, okay, I'm just going to talk to an angel now. I had also kind of not really been in touch with any of that side of myself for many years. And through chronic illness, I think I really lost that with chronic illness. Yeah. So it was like trying to get it back or even find it again. It just felt weird to first start talking. But he said, talk to the angel of faith every day. So I did that. So the other thing I did, and this is all kind of beat up because I use it so much, but it's not tidy and whatever. But I made a list of all the angels from all the books. And I put it in these little plastic protective sheets. I didn't laminate it, but that's something you can do too if you have access to that or whatever. But I made the list. And when he does add a new book and says, here's a new one, then I try to add it to the list and with the description of like what they do. So it's sort of my cheat sheet for the angels, my quick reference that helps me remember who to call on when I need them. So I started talking to the angels every single day. And I felt really silly, but I was like, I'm just gonna, no, trying this jacket on, I'm gonna do it. And I talk to him every single day, and I this is gonna surprise you, I know, because I'm so chatty when I sit in front of this camera and I start but it's weird because then when I start talking to the angels, it's like I don't know what to say, and so I just say the most basic things, and I think it doesn't matter, right? He doesn't say like, oh, you have to say a bunch of things. So honestly, sometimes I would just read off the sheet and be like, okay, angel, will you help me with, the things that he says you help me with, basically, like, angel of faith, will you please help me build my faith? Angel of hope, will you please help me build my hope? Help me have hope. And that was it. I would just say the most basic something, just to be saying something. And I still do that with a lot of them. And I'll say thank you, and I'll say, and please continue, and then I'll add other people in and stuff like that. And I think I just practicing it and doing it sort of helped me get more confident about it and helped me feel more like, yeah, I'm talking to something. And I think it's been a while, so I'm trying to really remember, but I remember I was telling my friend this last night because we were talking about this, but I think one of the things that happened is that I was starting to do it more regularly for more things. So it wasn't just at night before bed. I was starting to, during the day, angel of enrichment, please help enrich my food with everything my body needs to heal and thrive, and stuff like that. Like, so I would, during the day, be using the angels all the time. And I think I was talking to a couple of friends. This was a couple of days apart, and I was like, I remember one person I was talking to, and he was saying, it's so cold where I'm working right now. I feel so cold. And I prayed to one of the angels, I don't remember who, but I prayed to the angels to warm it up for him so that he would be warm in his work, and then he wouldn't struggle and suffer so much. And right after I prayed, I think I prayed while I was talking to him, but I didn't tell him that I did. I think I might have told him that I was sending energy or asking the angels to help make it warmer for him or something like that, or that he'd be working in warmer conditions. And he said, the room just got warmer. He's like, how'd you do that? And I was like, I didn't do anything. I said, I just asked for help. And he's like, I don't know what you did, but it's warmer in here. He's like, I just got warmer. I feel warmer. The room just got warmer. He was like, that's wild. I can't believe. He was like flipping. He's like, I can't believe you just did that. That's amazing. And I was like, I can't believe I just did that either. Because I'm like, I didn't do that. The angels did that. And I was like, holy moly, that's amazing. And it was within like a day or two, I was talking to another friend, and I can't remember what it was that I asked for her, but she's a friend who is chronically ill, and I asked for something for her, and it was like right after I asked for it, something like opened up for her, and she was like, oh my gosh, that worked. It just, this has happened. And I wish I could remember exactly what it was, but I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember the emotion of it, where she was like, holy crap, that was amazing. How did you do that? And I was like, I just asked the angels. And she was like, well, they listened. She's like, it just, like something just happened that made her be like, that worked immediately. And then I had it happen, I think, a third time with another friend. And I was like, what is this power? I'm now a wizard, like, I'm kidding. That's not what I really thought, but you're a wizard, Harry. But it was like that. I was like, this is amazing. And not only that, but I felt like praying for other people and asking for stuff for other people feels so good to me. It just, and it's not even like an ego thing or anything like that. It's just like in my heart and soul, it feels good to ask for something for someone else and see it realized. Those were like, you would think like tiny things, but those are miracles, to have the room get warmer for this person when he's like in this cold environment. What? Like, and he was like, what did you do? Because he couldn't believe that had just happened. And I was like, it was in another state too. Like, we were just talking on the phone. And it was just miraculous, these things happening. And I wish I could remember the other two things off the top of my head. I can't. Maybe I will in a future video, I'll remember, but we'll see. We'll see what memories come back to me. But I just remember that, her being like, it worked. It worked. Oh my gosh, this just opened up and I was able to do this, and I can't believe this is, you just are a miracle worker. And I was like, I am not. I just said the prayer. The angels work the miracles. I don't, but I just kept seeing it happen. And okay. And way before this, and I don't know if I should have said this before, but there is something also in the history of just prayer in my life. Take a sip of tea. So if you watch my videos a lot, you know that I had a son who died. And he had a very severe heart defect that he was born with called hypoplastic left heart syndrome. And it meant he basically was born with half of a heart. And he had had 3 open heart surgeries to do a sort of like temporary repair. This is why Anthony, medical medium, says that surgeons are so amazing. Because they can do amazing things to keep people alive, like amazing things. They rerouted my son's heart, and they basically kind of built him a sort of contraption inside of him to keep him alive. And he lived for 2 years and 8 months, and before he died. And I do believe that we had him on borrowed time. I don't really think that he was meant to stay as long as he did. And I believe that it was prayer that kept him here. So many people, when he was born and almost died, so many people prayed for him. And this was before the internet had social media. There wasn't social media on the internet. There were blogs and there was email. There was no Pinterest, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was no Twitter, there was none of that stuff. So we didn't have social media, we just had the internet. There were blogs and forums that people could communicate on. So most of the time, it was still a little more word of mouth and people sharing information in that way. There were so many people telling me that they had put him on prayer chains in their churches, in their, in their communities, in whatever. And I had so many people communicating with me that they had put him in prayer chains and they were praying for him and saying so many prayers. And I felt it. I had my pagan friends came to the hospital. There's a reason I don't talk about this much. My pagan friends came. My pagan friends came to the hospital and they did a ritual for him in the chapel of the hospital while we were upstairs. And I meant to join them, but I couldn't. But I felt it. I felt the energy. And I felt that they were directing for him, and all the prayers that people were saying for him. And I feel like those prayers are what kept him alive. I know that the machines were keeping him alive, and they said, we can keep him alive, but I just felt like he stayed because of how much we wanted him here. And I always felt like, it's in my heart and in my gut, I just felt like we had him on borrowed time. So every second that he was on this planet was a gift. And we treated it like that. We never thought about, we had to take him to doctor visits and we had to take him to the hospital and we had to do the surgeries and stuff like that. But we didn't think about that when we weren't there. We just focused on enjoying our life with him. And we did have to live in a little bubble because his immune system was very compromised. And so we lived very happily in our little bubble with him and enjoyed every second of his time here. And there was another time that I did pray. I did pray to God. And that was not something I did very often. And I want to be able to tell you, but I know I'm not going to be able to talk about it without just sobbing my face off. And I'm not really prepared to do that right now. So I'll just say that I knew it was time for him to go when he was going to go. And I prayed to God about it, and it was a very profound experience, and I had an experience of knowing what was going to happen. And it was very powerful. And interestingly, after all of that happened, it's like I put it all away again. I think I was so traumatized and so hurt by his death that I couldn't reach out again in that way. And I didn't reach out again in that way until the medical medium book. And Anthony said, talk to the angels. So I started talking to the angels. And in addition to those little, they're not little, but those miraculous things in the beginning of my talking to the angels. And I don't even know if it was in the beginning. It might have been like a couple months in. I'm not even sure, like time. I'm sorry, I'm not the best with my timeline. But I started to feel it. I started to feel them around me. And I think actually I became fascinated with the angels. This is me. This is how I do things. I become immersive. When I'm interested in something, when something has my attention, when I want to know about it, I really want to know about it. I want to know all about it and everything I can. And since the medical medium books had a limited amount of information, like kind of the basics, I wanted to know more. And I found this woman called Lorna Byrne, who has seen angels since birth and talks to them. She's written several books about it, about her experiences and about the angels. And I was like, this is what I want. And it felt good to me. Everything she says, her whole message is about love and about, there's nothing that I can see that's negative or weird or off-putting in her message. Her message is fully about love and praying for the earth and praying for the children and praying for each other and praying for your loved ones and saying that, your loved ones aren't gone when they die. They're still with you, which I know to be true. And so everything she says, it feels right. It resonates. I don't, even if there's a slightly different things in some of the stuff she says, it still feels accurate. Like she has talks about angels that she calls unemployed angels, and Anthony talks about the unknown angels, and I kind of think they're the same. It's just that she has different language for it. And so I read all of her books, and it helped me feel even more connected to the angels. It helped me feel that I had a guardian angel around me, and it helped me to visualize when I was struggling and when I was suffering. And the more and more and more that I talked to angels, it's like when I was struggling and when I was suffering, I would reach out and I would say, help me, please help me, angels. And I had, by this time I had developed friends in the medical medium community who I would also be feeling the pull to reach out to. And I think that was my angels because, again, I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. I used to isolate. My go-to when I was feeling super down and not good about things and low and feeling that darkness around me is I would isolate. And so instead of reaching out to people for help, I would isolate. When my son died, I isolated. Just all of these things, like I would isolate. I didn't want people around me. I didn't want help. I didn't want to reach out. I wanted to contract within myself and go within and just curl up in a both physical and metaphorical fetal ball and be away from this world. And I have learned in my healing journey that it is so much more supportive to me when I reach out. And so I learned to reach out to people, and I'd reach out to people and they would say things like, call on the angels, ask this angel. And they would, pull out the specific angel to talk to. Call on the angel of peace, call on the angel of light, say light, light, light. Things like that. And I am telling you, that stuff helped. Okay, I got a little interrupted, so I'm going to go back. So when I would reach out on Instagram and I would do a post and people would pray, I would feel it. I would feel lifted up. I would feel the heaviness leave me and elevate, and I would just feel a difference. I felt it every time it happened. And it just blew my mind. It's just like more and more I started to really feel and know that I was protected and that I was taken care of and that there was support for me and that people were there for me. There were resources for me. There was something I could do. I would be led to something that would lift me up or elevate me. And being supported by the angels, it doesn't mean that darkness isn't going to try to get in there. It doesn't mean that there's never going to be a moment where you feel down look, we still have heavy metals in our bodies. We still have new exposures. We still have toxins and stuff like that. So occasionally they will be things that influence us, and there will be stress. When I was going through all of that stress in the RV, I think I leaned on the angels more than ever. Every day really made it a habit and practice to talk to them every day, to ask them for everything I needed. Whenever I felt a moment of down and depression and struggle, I would reach out, and I honestly am so proud of myself for that, because I didn't, like I said, I used to isolate, and seeing that now my natural inclination has shifted to reach out to somebody, and the voices will tell me they don't want to hear from you, you're just a burden, you're bothering them, they're not really your friend, all this stuff. Like, that's what the voices will say. Anything that's telling you that bullshit is a liar. It's anything that's telling you that kind of junk, it's a lie. It's a lie, because that's the darkness talking. The real truth is the people who are around you reach out, and somebody's going to be there to support you. Somebody's going to be the right one. And if it's not a person, ask the angels. If that's all you have, just ask the angels, because it really does make a difference. And maybe you don't feel it at first, and it takes some time to build up that trust. I did that sunset trust meditation constantly for like the first year. I really did. I did it constantly. It did help that we were traveling in the RV for a year and driving down the coast of California, and I got to watch the sunset over the Pacific Ocean. It was amazing. So of course it was really easy to watch the sunset. And I don't even think that I did it right, quote unquote, did it right when I was first doing it, but I knew I was supposed to watch the sunset, and I did. And I watched it, and I let it fill me, and I watched every second of it, and I know that it was helping heal my soul. I know that it was restoring my soul. It just was so powerful. It made all the difference. It makes all the difference. So I was building up my trust. I was building up my faith. I had hope. I had hope. That's what made me find the medical medium book. That's what made me try this. But I needed more hope. I needed to know that it was going to work. I needed trust. I needed all of that, and in my own body and everything. And it took me time, but I did build that up, and it was so important. And yeah, those books that Lorna Byrne wrote about the angels, that really helped me. And I haven't been so much into her stuff lately. I haven't read any of her more recent, there's a couple books I haven't read, but having that information from her, from somebody who, as far as I can tell, genuinely does see angels, it was very, very helpful to know that all of that existed, and to hear her take on it, because Anthony specifically talks about angels that will help with our healing journey. She talks about all different kinds of angels. It just, I don't know, that just helped me. And I don't know if that would resonate with you and if that's something you'd be interested in or whatever, or if that's helpful to you. But it helped me. It helped me really see and believe and know that they were there. And then just seeing the results and seeing that I've told you before about this thing that I say. Part of it came from Eileen Crispell, and part of it is Matt Kahn, and part of it's just me injecting my own thing into it. But it's a compilation, and I say this every night before I go to bed, and I say it every morning before I wake up, is angel of air, angel of light, angel of deliverance, my guardian angel, angel of peace, unknown angels. Please help clear out of my energy field the energy of all people, places, things, and entities. Return them to the source of their origin. Transmute them into light and blessings for all beings in all universes, in all dimensions, across time and space, and heal them to completion now. And please help me call all the parts of my mind, soul, and spirit back home to my body. And so I am free. Amen. And if you like, you can end it that way, like amen, or in Jesus' name, amen, whatever you resonate with. But that, I have felt that work miracles in and of itself. I have felt my energy shift, like fully shift, where I was spinning out, did not want to be on this planet. I felt this darkness just in my brain, just spinning out, all of the thoughts, all of the things. Nobody, you know all the voices that tell you all the negative things all the time about how horrible you are and how much of a burden you are and how, like, all that stuff. People don't really like you. You don't have any friends. All this stuff. They don't really want to be your friend. Whatever. Like, whatever those voices say. You're not worthy. You're not good enough. You shouldn't be doing this. Like, whatever. You shouldn't be here. You should just leave the planet. Blah, blah, blah. Like, that kind of spinning out. Like, those kinds of thoughts just swirling and swirling through my head. So dark. So dark. And I would say that like in a kind of a desperate way, like, please. And I have said it so many times that I just know it. I know it by heart. It comes out of my mouth very easily now. So I would say that, and within like 15-20 minutes, I would feel just an energetic shift where it was like the darkness was just lifted, and I felt lighter and better, and it was amazing just from saying that. And then I'd say that, and then someone would text me and say, what's going on? And I would be like, I'm spinning out. It's the darkness is coming. And they'd be like, basically giving me compassion, that spark of compassion that reignited my own self-compassion, and saying things like, you are the light, just let your light shine, and all storms pass, and this is gonna pass, and you are gonna get through this. This is just a bump in the road, and all these things. I don't even remember all the things. This is actually stuff I said to someone else, but it was probably the same stuff. And and because it worked, because it meant, I felt the compassion coming from that person, and it ignited my compassion for myself, and it helped me. It lifted off of me, and that is miraculous. That's a miracle in and of itself. Like, miracles aren't just giant earth-shattering, earth-moving, whatever. Like, that's a miracle. To have that darkness just lift off of me as quickly as it came in, to just go away again. And it's like, I don't know what that was. Honestly, Anthony William, the magical medium, has said that there's so often that we don't realize how often our thoughts are not our own. And I remember that. And I know those thoughts weren't mine. They weren't mine. They weren't coming from me. I don't know what that was. And sometimes, I've had experiences, okay, I don't want to get too much off topic of angels, but I've had experiences where it's like sometimes you can even connect with a person energetically, like online. Like, I'll be in a DM with somebody, and there'll be something that, like, it's like something that comes from that sort of attaches, and that's really intense. And I've called on the angels to clear that. Like you can say, that's why he says angel of air after an argument, say angel of air. Did I say angel of air because it's angel of air, angel of light, angel of peace, my guardian angel, angel of deliverance, and the unknown angels. That's who I call on for the clearing my energy field. Anyway, but the medical medium said that you can call on the angel of air to, clear the negative energy from you after an argument. And that's what sort of made me think of that. Like, oh, okay, she helps clear negative energy. So I ask her for that help. And it works. It has helped so much to just now. So when I started, I only would do it at night and kind of privately to myself and whatever. I mean, out loud, but quietly or whatever, like as I was going to bed, talking to the angels. And then during the day, I started saying, talking to other angels, angel of enrichment, stuff like that. And now I talk to so many of them. And if I can't think of which one I'm trying to think of, I got my sheets. I access my sheet. I come running over to it and I'm like, which one is that? And I can just look it up really quick. And it just has made all the difference in my healing to help me feel like I have support around me. Even there have been some dark times where friendships have left my life, and that's heartbreaking. Every time that happens, it's like people you've known for years and you lose them for whatever reason. The healing journey can be hard. People don't always want to stick around and watch you improve your life and get better, and it can be challenging for people, honestly, to stick around for that. And I'm not saying this happens all the time, but it happens, and it's happened to me. So to help me make it through that, and to help me get through and realize that it's not my fault and it's not something I did or something that's wrong with me or whatever, like, because always you want to go into, at least my brain wants to go into self-flagellation and what did you do wrong and this is all you and whatever. But a lot of times it's just that, not everybody in your life is going to stick around the whole time. And sometimes people are with you on some parts of your journey and sometimes they're not. And I've been super lucky because my husband has stuck around. I've got my son. I have family. And even though, maybe more extended parts of my family haven't been as supportive, my husband is always there. And that, I know how lucky I've been for that. I know that that's been really fortunate, and it has not always been easy for either of us. Our relationship can be tumultuous at times, but he's still there, which is amazing. And there's an angel of relationships to help with that too. So I talk to her sometimes. Maybe I could talk to her more often. And there's so many supportive angels to really help us through all of this stuff. And if we just reach out to them, it's almost like, even if you don't believe it's the angels, if you think about or believe in like the power of intention, so you're speaking out loud, you're saying out loud what it is you need, what it is you want, what it is you're wanting to have, and you're saying that to the angels. And so even if that's how you look at it and think of it as the power of intention, I mean, like, what could it hurt, really? I am so surprised at how much talking to the angels has impacted my life, and then how open I've become about it, because I don't think at the beginning I would have ever even told anyone I was doing that. Like, maybe secretly, or somebody who was already in the medical medium community and have read the books, I would tell them, but I wouldn't just say it to people. And now I just say it to people. And it, honestly, I could do a whole nother video on how my spirituality has opened up and how it's opened up my relationship with not just the angels but with God. And I'm going to save that for another time because I've talked so long now. I hope this has answered the questions. I think that I covered all the questions that you asked, Winter Song, and I hope that you're watching this video. And if this video brought up any other questions that you guys might have, please put them in the comments below. I would love to talk more about this. If you want me to kind of go more into a specific aspect or subject, just not what happened at the time of my son's death, but anything else. Yeah, if you want me to go into any specific aspect or part of this topic, or whatever, tell me. I would be happy to, because I really do love talking about this, and I love making videos about this particular topic, even though I kind of haven't really gone into it very much yet. I know I didn't talk very much about the meditations, so maybe I can do another video kind of more focused on the meditations. This one was more focused on the angels, but with a little bit of meditation in there. Yeah, just let me know. And hey, please, if you have had your own experiences with talking to the angels and the difference that it's made, please, 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 please tell me in the comments. I really want to know that. I do at some point want to do a video compilation of people talking about their experiences with the angels, and maybe you would be willing to be included in that. So that would be fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for asking this question, Winter Song, because I have been wanting to talk about this for a while, and it was just the perfect timing. So I appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming along on my healing journey. If you like this video, give a thumbs up below. You can subscribe to my channel by hitting that subscribe button over there, and you can ding the bell next to it if you want to be notified when I post a video. I recommend dinging the bell because of my inconsistent upload schedule. I try to upload as much as I can. 3 times a week is my sort of goal, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, and we'll see. But yeah, this has been delightful, and I would love to talk more about this kind of subject, because yes. And in the future, I'm also going to do a couple of interviews with a friend of mine, and this is one of the things we are going to talk about together, because she has some amazing experiences to talk about as well that I would love to share with you guys. And when we get that set up, oh, I can't wait. So anyway, yeah, there's more to come on this subject for sure. But yes, questions, comments, what else do you want me to make a video about? What else do you want me to talk about? Please let me know. I'm happy to hear it. Stay curious, my healers and health seekers, and so many blessings for your continued healing journey. I hope you're watching to this point, because I still have my little prayer book. See, it says just roll with it, and it's got a rainbow and a sun. This is the cutest thing. My husband found it for me. I asked him to get me a little notebook, and he's like, oh, how about this one? I was like, it's perfect. I have a list of people that I pray for in my prayer book. And if you have ever asked to be on this list, I have been praying for you every single day since you asked me. No kidding. Every day. I always ask the angel of healing to help heal everybody in this book. So if you want to be on that list, put your name in the comments and let me know. And if you have something specific that you would like me to ask for, usually I just ask the angel of healing for healing, but some people have asked for sort of specific areas that they would like me to ask about, and I have included that in my little notes in my notebook. And I love praying for other people. I really do. I feel like it has such a big impact when we do that. I have felt the impact when other people have prayed for me. I have felt the impact when I have prayed for me, but that collective energy of other people, holy moly, it's just so powerful. Anyway, thank you so much, my healers and health seekers. I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.